After years of cutting back on frequent flyer award tickets, airlines around the world are increasing their availability. So how far will your frequent flyer miles go these days? WSJ's middle seat columnist Scott McCartney joins us now with the results of the SwitchFly Reward Seat Availability Survey. Hi, Scott. Can you tell us a little bit more about the way the survey is conducted?
Yeah, it's very comprehensive. So they look at 25 airlines and pick a bunch of travel dates between June and October. In March, they do, for each airline, 280 queries. They look for 2 seats together at the basic saver level of frequent flyer awards. They look at 10 long-haul routes and 10 medium-haul routes. And so it's really sort of a good test of what consumers would look for when they want to use their frequent flyer miles.
Absolutely. So drum roll, please. Which airlines are the most generous with seats to loyalty flyers?
Well, in all of those queries, the 2 airlines that had seats available 100% of the time at the levels that the survey was willing to pay for the seats were Air Berlin and Southwest. It was actually the 5th year in a row that Southwest was at 100%. JetBlue scored very well. There are some programs, particularly at the value airlines, that really do reward people.
That's very good to know. Now, for Southwest, being loyal or being good to its loyal customers is pretty much all it can offer, right?
Yeah, that's right. So obviously they don't have first class upgrades. They don't waive baggage fees because they don't have baggage fees. They don't have a lot of the perks that you get on other airlines with your frequent flyer status. So they really do make up for it by being generous with the seats that they give away. Last year, 12% of Southwest passenger traffic were people flying on award tickets.
Very good for Southwest. That's very good to know. Scott, which airline is the stingiest, though, with its frequent flyer mile awards?
Well, I think the real notable one is American. American is actually the largest frequent flyer program. They had about a 10 percentage point drop this year in the survey. They're still ahead of Avianca and LAN from South America, but that's it. Worst among the big U.S. airlines. American says they haven't changed anything, but their seats are allocated by their yield management department, their pricing department. So as prices rise, as demand rises, the availability of seats at the mile saver level may be reduced. They've made some other changes in the program, but all in all, other airlines, I think in part because of this survey and more pressure from passengers to actually be able to use their miles, other airlines have made efforts to increase availability. Haven't seen that yet at American.
What about United and Delta? How do they stack up?
So Delta is one that was perennially on the bottom, and they have been making efforts to increase. Over the last year, they ran 10 different sales on frequent flyer miles, so discounting the number of miles you'd need for awards. They marketed those sales aggressively. They say they've increased availability at the lower levels. They had a more than 10-point increase in the survey this year, put them kind of in the middle of the pack, about on par with United. So they're doing better, but still the big gains around the world among big airlines have come abroad. International airlines generally more generous with their seats than U.S. airlines, except for Southwest and JetBlue.
So that sort of feeds into my next question, which is what tips do you have on making the most of frequent flyer miles at this point in time? And is that looking at foreign airlines?
It is, and you can do that sometimes through partners. United has all of its partners online in their award inventory. When you look on their website, Delta has some of their partners. It can really pay to call the airline, and sometimes there is availability that's not listed on their website that a reservations agent can help you with, or even a creative routing. I think you get really good, if you've got the miles, you get really good value for the miles with business class tickets and upgrades. That's a good way to use miles. And I think the other important thing is I always keep a reserve of miles for emergencies. If you got to go to a funeral, somebody gets sick, something like that. Using those miles for a last-minute ticket, which can be a very expensive ticket, is a better way to use the miles. There are no more bereavement fares and things like that. Miles are something to have in your back pocket for emergencies.
Scott McCartney, thank you so much. As always, great travel advice. Thank you for that.
Sure, good to be with you.